And I'm just going to try a bit of the Scotch egg now. That's really good. That is so yummy. Looking forward to dinner now. Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make these delicious spicy beef Scotch eggs. Today, as I just mentioned, I'm going to be making some spicy beef Scotch eggs. So for this recipe you will obviously need some boiled eggs. So I'm going to boil these eggs for about 8 minutes. So I've got a pan of water on the hob and I'm just bringing it to the boil, and I'm just going to put some salt in the water. And what the salt does is it helps stop the eggs from cracking. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the eggs in now that my pan is hot and the water is boiling. So I'm doing this as if it serves 4 people, so I'll be making 4 Scotch eggs today. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, there is a little bit of cracking from the shell, but normally the salt will stop any egg white bleeding out. And I'm going to leave these on to boil for 8 minutes. Now 8 minutes will boil them hard boiled, but if you wanted to boil them, if you wanted soft boils, I'd say 5 minutes for soft boiled. So I'm just going to leave the eggs to boil in the pan for 8 minutes. The eggs are boiled now, so I'm going to tip these through the colander and then I'm going to put them back into the pan. Excuse fingers, like so. They're slightly warm, but that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put cold water immediately on top of them, and I'm going to leave these in the cold water for about a minute. The eggs have been in the cold water for about a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip them out again, and then I'm just going to crack each one so that hopefully when I come to peel them later, the shell will come off quite easily. So I'm just going to crack the shells a little bit to help them cool down, and hopefully that means the eggshell will come off a little bit easier. And I'm just going to set these aside. While the eggs are cooling, I'm going to be making the minced beef mixture. So in this bowl here I have about 500 grams of minced beef, and to that I'm going to add 1 carrot that I've peeled and simply grated. I like to add carrots because it's a bit more vegetables in my husband and son's meals if I add the carrots. And then I'm going to be adding to that about, I'd say probably 6 tablespoons of ground almonds. This minced beef I think is offal minced beef, so it seems to be slightly wetter than normal minced beef. So to dry it out a bit I'm going to add quite a lot of ground almond. But if you are using normal minced beef then don't worry, add about 4 tablespoons I'd say. And you will need 2 tablespoons of almond flour as well to roll the Scotch egg in. So just be wary of that if you've only got a little bit left. And then I'm going to add in some dried mixed herbs as well. So I'm going to add in a teaspoon of dried mixed herbs. And I'm also going to add in some tomato puree, if I don't drop the lid that is. So I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. I'm only going to do small tablespoons because my mince is slightly wet, so it's a little bit damp. So I'm only adding small tablespoons in, but if you love tomato puree then please add more in. And then I'm going to add in some ground cumin as well. So I've got a teaspoon of ground cumin going in, and that's my ground cumin done. And I've got some ground coriander as well. So I'm going to add in a teaspoon of ground coriander. And I'm going to add in ground cinnamon. Now in the original recipe I think I said ground sweet cinnamon. Unfortunately I have run out, but I will get some more tomorrow. But for now I'm just going to use some ground cinnamon. And then I'm also going to add in some ground ginger as well to this. And then I'm going to add in some mild chilli powder as well. I only have a little bit of mild chilli powder, which will probably please my son because he's not the greatest chilli fan, I have to say. I also need some salt and pepper, so I'm just going to go and get that. I'm going to add in the salt and pepper as well. So I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of pepper. My son is 9, he likes spice but he doesn't like things too spicy, so I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dampen my hands and then I'm going to mix all of these ingredients together. I've dampened my hands and I'm just going to mix all of these ingredients together, and while I'm mixing these together I thought I'd say that if you like videos like this one, then please do give them a big thumbs up, and also if you like a recipe channel like this one as well, then please feel free to subscribe. It really helps me out, keeps me making these videos. So yes, and I've mixed everything together, so I'm going to go and get my eggs, and I'm just going to wash off my hands as well. I have grabbed the eggs and I'm going to take the shells off now, and hopefully they'll come off quite easily as well. I hope. Yep, they're coming off quite easily. That's brilliant. That's really great. So I'm just going to keep peeling these eggs until I have all the shells off. I've finished peeling the eggs and I've dampened my hands again, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this mixture into 4, like so, and then I'm going to grab a piece of the mixture, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it down like you would a burger, and then I'm just basically going to wrap the meat around it as evenly as I possibly can. It never really is that even with a Scotch egg, unfortunately, but I will try to do it as best I can. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to put it onto the plate and I will cover it in the almond flour in a little while. So I'm just going to use a little bit of extra almond flour and cover it in the almond flour. If you wanted to use breadcrumbs for this recipe, then you can do. Or if you wanted to use something like flaxseed, then you're more than welcome to. I prefer almond flour. I just really like the flavour and the texture of almond flour, especially when you put it in meals like this as well. So yes, I'm just going to continue to wrap these eggs in this mince mixture. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to roll the Scotch eggs in some almond flour. As I mentioned earlier, you can use breadcrumbs if you wanted to, or you could use flaxseed or any type of seed you like, really. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons for now. I think 2 tablespoons will be fine, but I just want to make sure. So I'm just going to roll the Scotch eggs in the almond flour like so, and I'm just going to put that back onto the plate, and then once all the Scotch eggs are covered in the almond flour, I will put these into the fridge until we want to eat them this evening. So I'm just going to store these in the fridge for a little while. I would say you can store for 2 hours, but anything up to 6 is great, I think. Just helps to harden the Scotch egg, and then hopefully when the meat hits the baking tray, it will bring all the juices out, and the meat will be lovely and juicy. So yes, I'm off to put these into the fridge for about 6 hours now. It's almost dinner time, so I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. I'm also going to put a baking tray into the oven while it preheats. This is a Pampered Chef baking tray, stoneware. So it basically means you don't need any extra oil on it. It's completely non-stick and everything will cook really evenly on this. And I'm putting this in so that when the Scotch eggs go onto this, it will be hot, and then hopefully that will help with the juices from the meat as well. So I'm going to put this into the oven while it preheats. The oven has preheated and I have transferred the Scotch eggs from the fridge to this baking tray. I'm going to put this in the oven now for about 25 to 30 minutes. As you can see, there's only 3 there. I'm actually going to save one for my snack tomorrow, so I'm going to have one of these tomorrow, so that's why there's only 3. So I'm going to put these into the oven now, as I said, for about 25 to 30 minutes. The Scotch eggs are cooked, and I can tell because the juices are run clear, and they're also a lovely golden brown colour. So I'm going to take these out of the oven and serve them with some chips, and that will be our dinner done. So I have plated up, and we are having this with chips. The boys are having theirs with plain chips, and I'm having sweet potato. And I've also served myself a little bit of salad as well. And I'm just going to try a bit of the Scotch egg now. That's really good. That is so yummy. Looking forward to dinner now. That's how you make my delicious spicy beef Scotch egg, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be having these for our dinner this evening, and they smell and taste so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.